Welcome in to I Remember My First Time. Oh, don't be nasty, Jacob. Not that first time.
Damn it.
This is a podcast about cinematic awakenings,
I like the sound of that.
where we talk about the movies we love with someone who just popped their cherry to that movie.
I love a good cherry pop.
Jacob, are all the movies... Jacob, are all the movies we do on this podcast going to be good movies?
God, I hope not.
Do we like shitty movies?
We love shitty movies. Sometimes even more than good movies.
Are we critics?
Absolutely not.
But do we love movies?
Oh, we love the shit out of movies. In this week's masterpiece. What year did the Pacifier come out?
Let's say 2005?
Oh, that's it. This week's masterpiece is the 2005 Vin Diesel Disney live-action classic, The Pacifier.
Jacob, for this podcast, I will call you Red One.
BJ, drop and give me 20.
I am minivan driver BJ Leica.
Joined as always by me, Jakey Beakus. And North Korea does pay better.
This week we have The Pacifier, a movie described by Disney Plus as super tough Navy SEAL agrees to take care of a scientist family, only to discover that from diapers to curfews, this is his toughest mission yet.
That's a pretty good description.
I don't think this movie requires an IRMFT summary. You know, big,
Nope.
muscled up, manly man has to take care of a family for a mission, ends up falling in love with the family and realizes he wants a family of his own, all in time to save America from the North Koreans. That's a weird subplot to this movie, I gotta say. It
Hey,
fucking threw me for a loop.
it works. And I love it.
Let's see. The Pacifier has a 5.6 out of 10 rating on IMDb, 58% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 30% Metacritic score.
I mean, that makes sense for a movie like this. It has the numbers that I thought it would.
Yeah, we haven't done enough of these movies to know what this movie typically scores, but I'll get it out here. It's pretty average.
Yep.
Do you think Roger Ebert thought this movie was average?
Oh, I think Roger Ebert loved this movie. It's a great kids movie, doesn't take itself too seriously, and Vin Diesel was great. Let's see how wrong I am.
He gave it 2 out of 4 stars in a review titled, "The Pacifier Lacks Comedic Muscle." In The Pacifier, Vin Diesel follows the footsteps of Arnold Schwarzenegger comedies, where the muscular hero becomes a girly man. Diesel doesn't go to the lengths of Schwarzenegger in Junior, where Arnold is actually pregnant, but he does become a babysitter, going where no Navy SEAL has gone before. The premise is promising, but somehow the movie never really takes off. We know that Diesel will begin as gravelly voiced and growly, and then he'll soften up and get to love the kids. All very nice. Sometimes we smile, but there's nothing compelling. Casting is only funny when the cast is giving something funny to do, a truth that should be engraved above the portals of every film school.
Perfect. Thank you, Roger.
Jacob, you got budget and box office info for us?
You know I do.
Let's hear it.
You know I do. So the budget was $56 million. I don't know how.
In 2005?
Yeah.
So this is damn near $100 million adjusted for inflation movie? Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. Its opening weekend, it made almost $31 million.
Goes to show what I know.
Gross and
I guess it was
yeah,
when the budget was fine.
gross in the US and Canada was about 113 million, and worldwide it almost got to $200 million.
2005 was a wild time, Jacob.
Dude, no kidding. No kidding. But yeah, like insane numbers for a movie that didn't seem like it needed any budget.
Maybe that minivan was souped up. I don't know. Because even the like actiony stunts, like I thought were done kind of purposely cheap.
Yes. Yes. I agree. But they weren't. They were done extremely expensive.
Or the money was spent on
So,
something.
yeah. All right, BJ, what are your thoughts on this movie?
Well,
Talk to me.
this was my first time to see this almost 20-year-old kids comedy. I watched it with my kids, and despite this movie being nothing special and a lot like a ton of movies we've seen before, I didn't regret spending an hour and a half watching this movie. I laughed at every poopy diaper joke because poopy diapers are funny. I laughed at Brad Garrett in a singlet because big hairy men in wrestling singlets are funny. I'm sorry, they are. And most importantly, my kids enjoyed the watch too. My oldest son, Zane, I was asking him about this movie, and I asked him who his favorite character was. And you know what he told me?
What do you say?
The duck.
Awesome.
Duck was his favorite character in this movie.
Zane is my favorite child, and my brother just had m- my third niece. So sorry, David. Sorry, Emily. Like, it's not her. It is Zane for sure.
He does have similar taste in movies to you.
Hell yes. Awesome. Let's see. What did I think? This movie's awesome. It's an easy watch, hour and 30 minutes, not hard, funny. It's got action, it's got chemistry, it's got romance. I mean, this movie's got it all. It even has boobs in it. Lulu was like, "Why are your boobs bigger than mine?" But yeah, no, this movie's fun. It's an easy watch. It's an hour and a half. If you've got kids and they like action movies, throw this on. It's fun.
Yeah, it really flies by. You don't have to pay super close attention to it, obviously, but you know, if you know what you're getting into, I think you're gonna laugh out loud. You know, 6, 8, 10 times during the movie.
Yeah, you'll probably LOL IRL
Hmm.
when you watch this
I
movie.
did, I did.
I also thought the poopy diapers were funny because poopy diapers are funny.
That's the motto of this podcast. Poopy diapers are funny.
That's right. What would you like about the movie specifically?
You know, we've touched on it. Like I said, you're gonna laugh, and it's and this movie's gonna be pretty wholesome. I really enjoyed the storyline of the oldest boy. I I'm sorry, I do not recall any of the kids' names, but the story of the oldest boy and Lulu, the one who commented on Vin Diesel's boobs. I thought those were two
Hmm.
like really, you know, opposite ends of the spectrum, but like really good like parenting storylines.
Yeah, I agree. They were definitely the best two kids, and the studio or the director knew it. That's why he focused on those two. I liked them. I liked all the white T-shirts Vin Diesel wore. That was so funny when the baloney fell on his shirt. And he's like, "This was my favorite shirt."
Bro, you've been wearing the same shirt this whole movie.
Yeah, and then he goes and changes shirts, and he changes shirt to the same shirt. I'm like, incredible.
It's comedic gold, my man.
It is comedic gold. Thank you. Along with the poopy diapers.
Did you have a big
Well,
crush on Brittany Snow, the oldest daughter, when you were growing up?
of course I did. Did you?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Of course I did.
Oh, what did you not like about the movie?
Just how really kind of average and cookie cutter it was, where it's like, okay, I know what's gonna happen. Oh yeah, now it's time for the montage scene. Okay, yep, we said that she was an expert in hand to hand combat. That's gonna come in on the movie. Up, it's got to be right here. Here it is. Okay, just that whole part of it, which is fine for the movie. It is, but you asked me what I didn't like about it, so I had to answer something.
Yeah. Uh, for me, I don't have to answer anything. Nothing. I liked it all.
Perfect movie. Nothing
Yeah, this
wrong
is
with it.
that's right. For a kids movie, this is a perfect movie. Like I'm grading it on a scale. This is like, you know what another perfect kids movie is? A perfect live action kids movie? Well, it's half live action. The Page Master with Macaulay Culkin. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, BJ, that movie fucking rocks.
Well, see, now I haven't seen this movie in a while, but like, I'm thinking like Mrs. Doubtfire, like like there's not that level of comedy in this because the joke is that Vin Diesel's not, manly man action star. That's kind of the
Yes,
joke. But I'm kind of
yes.
thinking more in the like Mrs. Doubtfire range for perfect kids movie.
For perfect kids movies. That's fair. So, BJ, is this a good or a bad movie?
Neither. It it is what it is.
It fits for its time and place.
Yes.
It is what it is. Fair enough. All right, BJ, are you ready?
Are we getting deep?
Oh, we're getting balls deep, like ball pit balls deep.
Another pulled out a poopy diaper. Made me laugh.
Yep.
What do you want from me?
And I loved him diving into the ball pit, like, and then like legit being in the ball pit. I've always wanted to do that. It's not possible, but it doesn't mean I don't want to do it.
It's just not as smooth as they make it look.
All right, who's going first on this Mount Rushmore of scenes?
This is my first time to watch it, so I'll go first. And I will say that my fourth favorite scene is the scene when Vin Diesel first shows up to the high school and you're hearing like what kids are having all the problems. It introduces us to Brad Garrett, which I graduated high school in 2006. This movie came out in 2005. I'm pretty sure that Brad Garrett character basically was one of our vice principals. And the awful, awful fashion of 2005, it was more just real nostalgic for me. But Vin Diesel driving the minivan and getting all the kids ready and the tension with whoever Lorelai Gilmore is, Lauren Graham, that's her real name. I will refer to her as Lorelai Gilmore. The tension with her and Vin Diesel are the things that really stand out in the scene for me.
Nice, that's a good scene. My Mount Rushmore is all. It's a true Mount Rushmore. So I'm starting with four, but it might as well be one. I like the driving to school bit, but the second time they drive to
Where
school,
he lets Brittany Snow
and
drive.
yeah, and then the kid Seth talks to the coach, and he's like, "Yes," and to say Twinkle Toes.
Yeah, Brad Garrett killing it in this movie.
Yeah, and then Vin Diesel's like, "You said you wanted to wrestle, where and when?" And Brad Garrett's like, "You mess with the bull, you get the horns."
Apparently the first time my kids ever heard that saying because they've been telling me that all day. They do the little Texas Longhorn and put them up on their head, and they go, "Bubba, you wanna mess with the bull?"
That's hilarious because you get the horns. Oh my gosh, sorry.
Well, I'm
And then of course I take this scene into the fight. And I just have a quick question. What high school is ending before 3?
I don't know, we got out at 3:45, I don't know.
And then any fight scene in any movie, it's gonna make my Mount Rushmore when you put Queen's "We Will Rock You" in there.
I mean, it's movie logic where, like, 6 in the morning is bright ass morning, and as someone who wakes up at 6:15 every morning, 6 AM is not fucking bright, ever.
Yep. But you gotta have movie logic.
But
And then I'll end this scene with "Wanna play prison rules? I'll be your daddy."
I'm glad this was here because this is my 3rd favorite scene. Just simply on the fact of Brad Garrett is wearing a wrestling singlet with his big ass hairy fucking body, and it says the title of the movie in this scene where Vin Diesel's like, "The
Yes.
armbar," whatever, does some other, moves, and he's like, "The pacifier." And I was like, "Yeah, you said the title of the movie in the movie." That's all I have to add, and I can't believe you didn't say that in your review.
Well, I forgot, but I forgot to put it in my notes, but you're right. I love whenever movies say the title of the movie in a scene, and that was another reason it made it. So thank you for adding the scene on your Mount Rushmore too, because it needed to be there. My third favorite scene, just a real easy scene. It's the bedtime stories when Vin Diesel is making up the elf bedtime story with the uranium. I thought that was hilarious.
Mushrooms full of uranium.
And they never leave a man behind. So funny. All right, second favorite scene.
Second favorite scene for me is the final scene. It's pretty long, but I think my favorite part of this scene is when the oldest boy sprays him with the fire extinguisher, and the bad guy goes, that doesn't hurt," and then he hits him in the head with the fire extinguisher.
Mhm.
That's comedy, dude. That's comedy
Good
right there.
stuff. Good stuff. I mean, yeah, this is my second favorite scene too. It is long, but this isn't a lie, cheat, and steal scene because it all goes together.
Yeah, and,
And
Brittany Snow driving fast past the cop to get their attention for the cops to show up. The neighbors were the ones trying to steal it. Great twist.
yep,
Basically a movie that this scene basically says that the cops are inept and never trust your government, which hell yeah.
hell
What a
yeah.
great message that delivered to me. The cops are useless and don't trust your government is what I gathered from this scene, which was almost enough to put it at number 1, but not quite.
Fair enough. You know what I do every time I see police? You know what I say? I can't even help myself anymore.
What is it?
I quote Ben Stiller from Anchorman and go, "Policia!"
It's like when you see a cow and you say, "Look, cow." Every time you see a cow, you go,
Y-
"Policia!"
exactly. Policia! But yeah, this is a great scene. It's got good action. It's got good comedy. It's got good twist. His commanding officer working for the North Koreans too. Like it's all good.
I do say I like the where Lorelai Gilmore and Vin Diesel go in for the kiss, and then it gets interrupted, and then they have the real kiss later. I was like, "Oh, that's a cool little trick." I like that.
Yeah. What's your number one scene?
My number 1 scene is maybe a little bit lying, stealing, cheating here, but it's the montage leading into, Vin Diesel getting everybody right in the play, the little girls kicking the Boy Scouts' ass, the daughter getting her driver's license, and the panda dance.
Okay. quality scene. I knew you were gonna put at least one of the montages on your Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I thought this was the best 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, agreed. My number one scene is a live seat and chill scene. It is the anytime or both times they had the Girl Scouts on there. So
The girl
whenever Vin Diesel called himself the Den Mother,
I'm afraid of you, den mother.
you should be. And then they go set the cookies up, and then the Boy Scouts show up and they crush the cookies. And then the little montage happens, and I don't count the whole montage. I just count the kung fu training and then beating the shit out of the Boy Scouts. I thought that was fucking awesome.
The Girl Scouts kicking the shit out of the Boy Scouts was amazing. Like, that was my, like, favorite 20 seconds of the movie. Well, maybe when Brad Garrett shows up in the wrestling singlet, but, like, right up there, it's quality.
Yeah, one of my favorite things, and it may even make my Mount Rushmore, but it's whenever he finds the ghost.
And it was the Demi Moore, Patrick Swayze
Yeah,
movie.
Patrick Swayze movie, and right when I saw that, you know what I did? I went, "Roadhouse,
As well you should. There's
Roadhouse."
more roundhouse kicks in this movie than the remake of Roadhouse.
Yep, true.
A shout out couple scenes. The scene where the kids put their trackers in the sewer and Vin Diesel has to dive in the sewer. My kids found that
Hilarious.
absolutely hilarious. And
Yeah.
the Nazi twist got me.
Did
I
it?
didn't know where they were going with it.
Okay, cool.
Uh
It got me the first time I watched this movie too, so I'm glad that it got you at the tender age of what, 35?
yeah, I was like, this, like, I knew something was up because I was like, this is not flowing with this movie. And fortunately, they didn't leave like a big mystery. They did it pretty quickly where it's like, oh, he's in The Sound of Music. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was good shit. I enjoyed that part too. Another one that I enjoyed was at the very beginning when Vin Diesel was laying down the wall of the house. Love that scene. Breaking down the kid's door.
He's like, I was in the
Oh yeah.
bathroom, dude.
That was kind of in your Mount Rushmore actually. You just didn't mention that part, the red one, red two, which hilarious. I'm not gonna remember any of y'all's names, so you'll be red one, red two, red baby. Quality shit. Any other scenes you wanted to mention before we leave this segment?
No, I just wanted to shout out those two mainly.
Cool. And of course the Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Roadhouse. Oh, that scene also has the first ninja fight. Lulu's trying to give him the broom or the mop.
Yeah.
She's like, Shane, take one of these. He's like, Lulu, what are you doing? Shout out to my 14-year-old sister. It was just her birthday this last month. Lulu reminds me of my 14-year-old sister, Laura.
Okay.
Like, big time. Big time. I'm like, holy, like, Nim and I were watching this movie, and I was like, holy shit, that's Laura. So, I had to say that.
So speaking of your family, this movie's huge within your family. Why?
BJ, I have no idea. I Maybe it was because I was such a big Vin Diesel fan in high school and have been for my whole life. And when this movie came out, it was 2005. So 2005, I was fuck. How old was I in 2005?
Oh, I don't know. 13?
13. Yeah, I was 13. So this is right up. I was 13 or 14. This is right up my wheelhouse. I watched this a number of times.
Yeah, because your brother's been trying to get us to do this episode for like 2 months now. And
2 months? No, my brother's been trying to get us to do this episode since sometime in January.
okay, 4 months. And then you told me, it's like, "Yeah, I was gonna have my sister on for this podcast." I'm like, "What is the deal with your family in this
Yeah.
fine movie?" Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but
No, but my family loves this movie. Yeah, my other sister, she's what, 20? And I was like, "Hey, you should be on the podcast." And she's like, because I'm trying to connect with her because I'm 32 and she's 20 and we're not really friends. And I was like, "You should be on the podcast." And she's like, "No, you're just gonna make fun of me." And I'm like, "Literally have never made fun of a guest on the podcast. I just do that to you because you're my sister. Wouldn't even happen." I was like, "You should listen to the podcast and see what it's about, see if you want to come on, and then find a movie." And I wrote her a list of our podcast episodes of ones that I think she'd be into. And then she watches this movie with David, and she's like, "Hey, Jacob, I want to be on your podcast and do the pacifier." I was like, "Sweet. Did you listen to any of the podcasts yet? Any of the episodes?" She's like, "Nope." And I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're not coming on the podcast. I'm sorry." And I didn't even bother reaching out to her for this one because I know she hasn't listened to it yet. Fuck it.
Yeah, I was just really curious. I'm like, why is your family like I said, this movie's fine. I'm sure you at 13 thought it was great, but like this is a
Yeah.
weird movie for like the family to be obsessed with.
I need to find out what my 27-year-old sister thinks about this movie because I want to know if every sibling in my family thinks this is just the tits. Because like we said, David has been harping on this movie since January, and we're trying to figure out what movie we're doing this week. And you're just like, I have a bit of a short week, and I told David that I'd watch this movie by the end of the month, and there's literally 4 days in this month left, so I'm either fitting in two movies or we can do the pacifier. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do the pacifier.
We begrudgingly did this movie.
And it was a good movie.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's not a movie I would think an entire family would be obsessed about. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for your question, BJ. Maybe it's because of my love of Vin Diesel and when this movie came out. Like I was 13 or 14 and all like Fast and the Furious, Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, like all that shit was my jam. And then he came out with the kids movie, and I was like, I can show this to my siblings. Yeah. So
Well,
that that probably plays a part.
I had to ask the question. So,
Yeah.
speaking of Vin Diesel, character breakdown.
Oh yeah, character breakdown. The first thing, really the only thing I have to say about Vin Diesel is he wore the fuck out of those white t-shirts, didn't he?
Yeah, and as a couple of fat guys, really our only fitness goal is to look decent in a t-shirt because we're fat guys, so we just want to wear t-shirts, but we're fat, so we look like shit in t-shirts. So
Yep.
I I'm jealous.
Mad jealous. You know, just just was saying how good Vin Diesel looks in these t-shirts or whatever. I remember being like 15, 16 years old, maybe 13 or 14. And I was like, I want to pursue acting. I remember telling my family this. I had just done a play out in East Texas where it was a community play and I was the lead and Vin Diesel was my jam. And Vin Diesel's path to stardom was like everybody else's tough and I was into it and whatnot. And I told my family, I was like, I want to be in shape like Vin Diesel in my 20s. And my shitty stepdad straight up looked at me and goes, "It's not even attainable. Don't even try."
I mean Vin Diesel, big guy, nice muscles, a very attainable physique.
I'm just like, don't shit on your kids' dreams. Like I was 13.
Yeah, that's kind of shitty.
Yeah. Well, and definitely like don't shit on your kids' dreams that are attainable.
Yeah.
And that they and dreams that they should at least attempt to pursue. Like what way to build up self-confidence,
Yeah,
shitty
because
stepdad.
I remember one time, like, telling my dad I wanted to play wide receiver, and he was like, maybe tight end.
Yeah, exactly. That's perfect. That's perfect. Like, it'd be like me going and be like, I wanna be I wanna look like current Dwayne The Rock Johnson or Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's like, maybe go for Vin Diesel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I wanna be a wide receiver in football. How about tight end? I think you'd be a great tight end.
Yeah, you
Okay,
got
cool, that's
you got
cool.
good hands, you can run routes, but you ain't getting downfield there, big boy.
But yeah, Vin Diesel is great in this movie. I love watching Vin Diesel trying to act. Like his scene with Brittany Snow about not having his parents around. One of my favorite things about watching Vin Diesel movies is watching the scenes where he's really putting it out there, and I'm just like, you're not very good at this, and I love it.
The one thing is when he first held the baby, I was like, "Nope, you held the baby too like, you've held a baby before, and I can tell."
I didn't even catch that, but being a dad of young kids, I'm sure it was easy to catch. And then you can't have a Vin Diesel movie without him being badass. Even in The Iron Giant, he was badass in The Iron Giant as the Iron Giant because he's Vin Diesel. Who else do we really need to talk about? Lulu. Lulu was great. Great comedic timing, great chemistry with Vin Diesel.
Yeah, and I don't know what the script was, but there was a lot of Lulu in this movie, so I think at some point, the director was like, "Okay, we need more Lulu."
Yeah. She's the star of the show. She's the oh, what's the big guy's name in Sandlot?
Um, I I don't remember.
Doesn't matter. She's the big guy. She's the big kid in Sandlot, where initially it was Yaya, and they're like, no, this fucker's funny. That's what happened with Lulu.
Yeah,
Like, this shit is
I
gold.
think initially it was supposed to be the Britney Snow, but then it was like, "This really isn't that interesting,
Yes.
so let's go more Lulu."
Yes, agreed. And she was great. Loved her. Seth with the acting and the sound of music and everything. I hope that little bit came on and I asked him, I was like, you ever seen The Sound of Music? And she's like, yeah, in high school. I go, me too. The shit sucked. But I notoriously hate fucking
Yeah,
musicals.
I was gonna say, I didn't
Like,
think it was that bad. It's been a long time since I watched it, but I remember when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
I hate musicals. If you want me out of the room, put a musical on. I will go fucking do something else. Like, just how can you just sing your talking lines? Like, it'd be like us doing a podcast, and all of a sudden I'm singing,
Vin Diesel
and
wears white T-shirts, and he wears them well. Did I just do the "If you have a structured settlement and need cash now" theme?
yeah, you 100% did.
Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now.
877 cash now. Yeah, fuck musicals for that.
No, I think
Hate
life
them.
should be that way. I think, like, everyone's allowed to just break into song, like, 3 times a day.
I love the romantic connection between Vin Diesel and the principal.
It was I like that they didn't focus on that very much. Like, it was clear, it was obvious,
I
it
do
was
too.
there, but it was 4 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. And it's those times where you're just like, like me was just giving Vin Diesel the hardest time for being a shitty actor, but you can't be. I mean, he's not that shitty because he's made tons of money in Hollywood, and two, he's part of that general chemistry with Homegirl. Like, that's acting. He did it, and they didn't focus on that part of the story at all, and it nailed it.
It's sincere Vin Diesel that's always unintentionally entertaining.
Fair
It's
enough.
the "My
Uh,
scene in Fast 5. Let me have to tell you about my
my,
father.
my father.
My father was always drinking Coronas at barbecue."
Damn. And you know what? He talked about his dad in this movie. He could have said fada. That was here. That was prepped for him to do. He could have went like, my father was never around. My father sent me to military school. And then one day, there was no more father.
I was waiting for the "this is like we're family" quote, and I didn't get that one.
I was too. I was too. I was too. Big letdown. I love that you're still wearing the bush hat. Is that just a permanent part of your wardrobe now?
You gotta let people know who you are.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh man. And then the vice principal, probably the last person we need to talk about here.
Oh, yeah, Brad Garrett. He's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Such great comedy, and that's what he does. That's who Brad Garrett is. Comedy.
Yeah, I'm surprised he never I don't maybe he made enough money from Everybody Loves Raymond where it didn't matter, but I feel like he's the perfect guy of, "Hey, we need someone in this movie for, like, 8 minutes, and he needs to be funny throughout it." Like, I'm shocked that he never had more of these roles because he's perfect for it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I loved him in this movie. Give me more. But the 8 minutes was perfect.
Yeah, I don't want Brad Garrett to star in a movie or, be the second, third build, but, like, just throw him in there and let him do his funny stuff for 6, 7, 8 minutes.
Yep. Agreed. All right, guys. Now on to trivia. And this movie has some pretty good trivia.
Let's hear it.
The scene where Lulu tells Shane that she thinks he's cute and Shane's embarrassed response was based on a real life incident on set. Morgan York, the actress who plays Lulu, upon meeting Vin Diesel, actually said that to him, and he awkwardly responded with a thank you. The director thought it was so funny that he put it in the film.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good, and she's at, like, the perfect age where it's not weird.
Yeah,
Like, I think had she been 2 years older, it'd have been like, "Ooh, this is ugh."
yeah. This is tiptoeing a line. Originally, Jackie Chan was attached to this film. Dwayne Johnson, Mark Wahlberg, and Bruce Willis were also considered. Were considered for Shane Wolfe, but Jason Statham was Adam Shankman's second choice for Shane Wolfe.
I kinda like the Jackie Chan part of this. I think that would be because I think Jackie Chan's has more comedic chops than Statham or Vin Diesel.
I agree. He, he's Jackie Chan. I think he's in a movie similar to this called Spy Next Door that came out a couple years later. They used this one's for Zane. Okay, so let him listen to this part of the podcast or just tell him. But I put this on here for Zane. They used the same live duck throughout the movie.
They paid the duck wrangler like $100,000 to shoot this
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
movie.
They had to shine a red light at Vin Diesel's ear to get the duck to bite it.
How much
The
duck
idea of
trivia
the
is in this movie?
I've got one more.
Okay.
The idea of the family having a pet duck was introduced by Thomas Lennon and Robert Garrett when their script had Jackie Chan attached. The running joke was that Chan's plan to kill the duck and cook it for dinner horrified the kids, and therefore Chan ended up reluctantly keeping and taking care of the pet. Even when Chan exited the project and other writers worked on the script, the duck stayed all the way through to the finished film.
Well, it made my kid very happy that they kept the duck in.
All right, BJ, you ready for this bit of trivia? Because this trivia is wild.
Okay.
As of September 2019, this film has the third highest volume of DVD sales in relation to year since release. This is largely due to Alex Hall, an Australian who claims to own over 1,500 copies. As of May 2019, Hall claims to have added another 967 copies to his collection for a total of over 2,400 copies of The Pacifier.
Oh, okay. So do we need to talk about this being the third highest sales or about this I don't know if he's crazy or a genius, but like I love this bit because you could probably pick the DVD up for a fucking dollar.
Right.
So like just pick a random spare movie and be like, yeah. I own 2,000 copies of I don't know.
Jeff Goldblum's The Fly.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like I love that bit. Because of the 2,000
Oh,
copies, like, it's probably costed him, like, maybe 5 grand. Like, people spent more than that on bits,
yeah.
and you could have given me a million guesses for the top 3 selling DVDs of all time. I would have never guessed The Pacifier.
Oh, man. Good trivia. I told you this movie had great trivia.
That was, like, I was in shock as we were reading all of that. Like just when I was like, "Wow, that is crazy trivia," and then you just kept going, and I was like, "Oh, that's wild," and then you just kept going.
Oh, man. Of course, Vin Diesel. We've already done a Vin Diesel movie on this podcast, and I'm pretty sure the impersonation segment was Vin Diesel. So you get to hear Vin Diesel again because it has to be Vin Diesel, right? That's what you have written down here.
Yeah, I don't know who else it would be. Maybe the maid. I don't know.
I don't want to do an Eastern European accent. Let's go with Vin Diesel.
Hey, kids, listen up. You're all part of my family. I know your father died. My best friend Brian died in a car accident too. It's sad, but I'm gonna shape you sons of bitches up. You're gonna be my military unit. Red 1, you're gonna be in the mess hall. Red 2, you're the medic. Red baby, just shit yourself.
That was good. I don't even know how I'm going to top that one. I don't even know what to talk about.
Yeah, because usually we skew it with a sexual angle, and I don't know what to do on this one.
Yeah, no, I don't either. Here we go. Let's try this. Um, yeah, I don't even know what to talk about. We're just gonna go with your impersonation on this one.
There we go. Keep it rolling.
Keep keep on rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep on rolling, rolling, rolling. When was the last time you heard that song? Classic
I don't
2000s.
know, but I saw a meme today that said, if Taylor Swift is so great, how come none of her songs are in Tony Hawk Pro Skater? And I fucking lost my shit when I read that.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, final thoughts on the movie. What's your rating of this movie?
I mean, it's a kids movie, but it's quite average, but it's pretty enjoyable. So I'm gonna give it above a 6, but I can't round up to 7, so I'll go 6.3 because it's closer to a 6.5 than a 6, but it's definitely not a 7.
Okay. I'm gonna always overdo it because that's what I do. This movie is a straight up 8 out of 10. It is a great kids movie, but I'm rating it on a scale.
Yeah.
And it's a kids movie scale, and it's an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't
Love
I
this
I don't
movie.
think I'll ever watch this movie again, but like I said, I didn't regret the 90 minutes I spent watching it, so do with that what you will.
Should they remake this? Sure.
Yeah, it's been almost 20 years. Just, you know,
Yeah.
muscular meathead finds family, finds love, finds new meaning for life. Sure, great. Awesome.
Yeah. They've been doing this for years. Keep doing it. All right. Well, my reviews aren't the greatest, but it's a kids movie, so why would they be? From Noah Cole 2, 10 out of 10. This movie is awesome. This is a wonderful movie. I'm a big fan of Vin Diesel, and I'm glad he played in a funny family movie like this. It is a good movie for adults and children both. The storyline includes things that will interest everyone: a little drama, comedy, emotion, all rolled into one. I got a lot of good laughs. I would recommend anyone to go see this. Shane, a Navy SEAL, real tough guy, ends up babysitting a bunch of kids, throwing a wrestling match with the wrestling coach, dancing for the kids, teaching when to drive, changing diapers, and falling for the kids' principal. That is just some of the funny things Vin Diesel has going on in the movie. He ends up loving the kids and them loving him too in the end. Looking at Vin Diesel was just an added bonus.
Look, you can just use your real name in your IMDb review. I know this was you.
You caught me red-handed.
But yeah, I mean, like he's like all that, like, yeah, there's a little bit of sweetness to it, there's a little bit of comedy to it, there's a little bit of everything. It's just none of that's great. It's just all pretty good.
Yeah. My bad review by SF1975, 2 out of 10. And I pretty much chose this because of the title. Worse than Anchorman.
I
While I
mean,
am a fan of
I
it,
mean, he's not wrong. But
he's not wrong.
also, who's comparing this movie to Anchorman?
Right. While I am a fan of VD, this movie was
Vaginal
excruciatingly.
discharge?
Yes, he is a fan of vaginal discharge. You are correct. This movie was excruciatingly boring. I almost walked out after the first 10 minutes, and the only other time this has happened for me was for Anchorman, and I loved Old School and Will. I'm not sure about this movie. It just didn't jive with me, but I think the situations were just too predictable. And VD really didn't fall into his groove into way late
I
into
can't
the
with the
film.
VD.
I suppose this was family fodder straight to video, so it will get demand. But still, I hope a sequel doesn't follow. Ouch. The production value was high, and the acting by the kids was so so. Enough to get by, but it lacked that punch, as did Bringing Down the House. But hey, that film made money, so I suppose the studios will continue to churn out this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what that guy was expecting in this movie.
I don't either. It's a kids' movie. Why are we comparing it to Anchorman?
Yeah, and like the first 10 minutes is like a shitty action scene.
Yeah, everyone loves that.
Like purposely shitty. Like uh
Who knows? BJ, should people watch this movie?
yeah, why not? I mean, I watched it with my kids. My kids thought it was funny. I enjoyed the 90 minutes. So, sure.
Yeah, watch it. It's great. I agree. The Pacifier, everyone. Say thanks to my brother David. It's his fault we did this movie.
It was better than the last movie he recommended we watch.
Oh my god. He kind of redeemed himself because that last movie was dog shit.
Uh,
I guess let's lift out of here.
uh and like between that and Interceptor, like when I'm scrolling on Netflix and I'm scrolling through movies and they all like all the Netflix originals, I'm just like, I can't. Like I can't watch them.
Watch the Chris Helmsworth Extraction movies.
I
That'll regain your faith in Netflix originals.
I enjoyed. I think it was called Triple Frontier with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, that was good. That was
I
good.
enjoyed that movie, but man, like there's a handful of these that I've watched. I've just been like, oh my god. Although they are pretty interesting because every one of them, it's like there's a good movie in here somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
You just
100%.
didn't do it.
You just didn't do it. Well, hope y'all enjoyed the pacifier, and if you didn't watch it, hope you enjoyed the podcast. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. What else are we on? Reddit.
Yeah, I've literally never been to our Reddit.
I think I just started it. I don't think I've ever been on it either.
Yeah, I'd
Like,
like
why would I?
I'd like more
Why?
community interaction. If people want to reach out to us, they can, suggest movies, whatever, man. I want to interact with people, man.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the people.
They call us the People's Movie Podcast.
The only interaction we get is out of David. we make this we make this podcast for 3 people. Me, you, and my brother. Oh my gosh. But yeah, some community interaction. Let's do it, guys.
Uh,
All our 10 listeners.
well, that's us. Until next time. Bye.